But I think that we should kind of make this clear right from the start so there's no misunderstanding. You see, I don't date men, I work with.
Well, then I quit.
You can't quit because I need you.
And of course he is smitten with her, and she wields a textbook seduction on him and also gives him a taste of his own medicine. Her coolness, her intellect, her ability to remain emotionally cool and distant from the situation, so she's in control of herself. She's exuding passion, but she's totally in control of it. Is remarkable. It's what makes her seductive, and it's a great example of the sage if you ever watched that movie, if you watched it before.
I'm Kamerie Gibson. Welcome to the Kamerie Gibson Show, the podcast. I believe that one of the most precious gifts you can share with someone is your story. Pain has purpose and stories can change lives. Your journey to become more inspired and transformed by the lives of those around us starts now. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Kamerie Gibson Show, where I talk about transforming our pain into power. And today it's no guest, it's just me. And I wanted to get on here to talk about the feminine archetype, specifically my feminine archetype. So if you've ever seen Grapevine, one of my favorite mentors and women and guest on the show was Ayesha Faines. Rest in peace to her. She passed away very, very suddenly, very young. It was due to a bad allergic reaction, I believe. That one really hurt me because of how poised and articulate Ayesha was and how knowledgeable she was. And even though she would come at you with the hard facts and information, she was still so graceful and such a lady about everything.
Men are socialized to go for what they want. Women are socialized to be nice. It's not always nice to say what you want. So if you're not socialized to be assertive, how can you go into a relationship and tell somebody what you want? You're too nervous about, is he going to like me? So I'm going to be passive aggressive and give you hints and be angry when you don't catch the hint.
Damn.
The idea is that we inhabit the masculine and feminine. And in a patriarchal society, not only do you suppress women by attempting to dominate women and normalize violence against each other, but also women, but you also suppress the feminine, that actual energy, and you suppress it in men, and you suppress it also a lot of times in women in healthy ways.
It does speak to some of the issues with our casual sex culture and some of the issues with the way that we raise women to be powerless. And this is what I think men don't understand, how if you're not being directly coerced, you could still feel like you don't have the power to say no. So we are a culture that is predicated on a virgin birth. Right? We have this idea that a woman can be a Madonna or you can be a whore. So whether or not you are a vessel for a male god to come into this world or you're a vessel for a man to have pleasure, either way you're a vessel. You are a sex object, not a sex agent.
And we look at semen like it's holy oil. It won't bless you. It's not crazy glue. It's not glue. It won't put you back together. It's not a substitute for therapy. It's not a cure for loneliness. And it's just sex. And I think we got to see what happens in this broader culture where, yes, women have agency, they have access, they can have whole phases, they're entitled to that, and in part that's a good thing, but the catch is we've created this culture where sex is so easy, where the cost, in air quotes, because I don't just mean financial cost, but the cost of vagina is so damn low that we created this culture where women cannot get their needs met. So outside of those sexual needs, we can't get those other needs like emotional reciprocity and all of that, loyalty and all of that met as well. So we got to see the double-edged sword of women having sexual agency.
Polyandry benefits women outside the context of a patriarchy. Polygamy benefits women because then the Kobe Bryants of the world get to have multiple wives and concubines. So everybody, all the women get a man. The issue is broke men don't get women. So monogamy is the way that we can ensure that average Joes get to get married too. So the truth is,
so I really admired her. And what Ayesha Faines studied and researched on her particular YouTube channel is femininity and power. The name of her channel was Women Love Power, which we do. And one of her videos that I was really drawn to was talking about the 7 main feminine archetypes. And on Ayesha's website, she had this test. And after taking the test, as a woman, you could determine which feminine archetype most strongly resonated with you. So upon taking my test, I ended up finding out that my feminine archetype was that of the sage woman. So when you think of sage women, what do you think of? When I thought of sage women, I thought of green plants, Greek goddesses, and maybe wisdom. But in this video that I'm about to play for y'all, Ayesha goes into full detail on what exactly a sage woman is. I'll show it for y'all right now.
So a lot of people are surprised to find that Martha Stewart is a sage, but sage energy governs not just a woman's ability to strategize her way to the top of her professional field, like Martha Stewart has done, but it also governs our creativity and the domestic arts. So a lot of women who are sage women are also creative women. They take pleasure in running their homes. My mother's a sage woman who loves everything from creating quilts, and every curtain in the house was made by her, and bedspread. She loves like the domestic arts, and she also loves to sing. So that pairing is also there. The sage also lends itself to creativity as well. I would say sage women have a unique challenge of connecting to their body and really feeling comfortable in their sensuality, because a lot of them can be so based in the head. It's very difficult for them to not only make the transition and the connection to the heart, the realm of emotions. So a lot of them feel very uncomfortable with emotions, but also feeling comfortable in their own body and their sensuality. So a lot of sage women, if you really talk to them about sex and they really identify with it strongly, and they haven't figured out how to integrate their other archetypes, they will say that during sex they're in their head, and it's very hard for them to really engage in the fully sensual experience. And so a lot of sage women kind of have to work hard at combining the sage with their lover energy. A lot of times it can literally be at war in their psyche until they really understand how the sage can work together with lover energy or other energies as well. In terms of being male identified, and a lot of sage women actually tapping into the aspect of this archetype that sort of is more so defined by patriarchy and being a champion for masculinity. Think about Condoleezza Rice, a sage woman, brilliant woman, but she was the essential ally to President Bush. Or Ivanka Trump, think about her loyalty to President Trump. And just as much as a sage woman can cape for men, they really can cape for women. I mean, some of the most renowned feminists, Camille Paglia, Gloria Steinem, are certainly sage women as well. And you can cape for both too, But it's just a matter of levels. I mean, all of these archetypes have levels at which we can align ourselves. And at the most basic level, for example, with the lover archetype, the tip of the iceberg is, connecting to your sexuality, wearing a nice dress, connecting to your sensuality. But at the deepest, most ancient and most powerful level of that archetype, it's the ability to alter reality and create reality. And same thing with the sage. You can approach it at the tip of the iceberg, which is sort of being in the proximity of power. Or you can approach that archetype and really get to the deepest level of that archetype, which is the ability to command immense wisdom, immense strategy, immense foresight, and to really be a queen of, both the boudoir and the battlefield, if you will. That honestly is the most ancient relic of the sage archetype. And sages are often secret weapons. This is the last note I want to leave with you. It's not a coincidence that you will find a lot of sage women paired with incredibly powerful men. When it comes to queen women have a knack for identifying kings and for partnering up and cozying up to kings. But when it comes to sage women make kings. So it's not a coincidence that Michelle Obama, a sage woman who also has a bit of mother and lover as well, not a coincidence that Michelle Obama was with Barack Obama, not a coincidence that Jacqueline Kennedy was with John F. Kennedy, not a coincidence with Carla Bruni Sarkozy. A lot of first ladies Bill and Hillary Clinton, another great example. A lot of first ladies and a lot of wives of powerful men are sage women, in part because they are drawn to ambitious and intelligent men with a knack for leadership, but in part because these are counselors. They are sages in the sense of, think back to the oldest, most ancient meaning of sage. You went and you sought after the sage's wise counsel, the sage's the oracle, if you will. You know, you went and this person had this prized, highly valued knowledge, and it wasn't just fact knowledge. It was knowledge based in experience and also instinct and intuition. And this person could advise you, and that's what a lot of sage women do incredibly well. Like, they have a knack for, if this is where you want to go, they can create the roadmap to get you there. So they are often not just powerful themselves, but they are often the secret weapon behind powerful men, and that is the sage.
So I don't know about y'all, but to learn more about yourself is so empowering, and it really helps you to figure out why you may be the way you are and why you may do things or attract the things that you do attract. So with me specifically, after learning about the sage, everything started to make sense and click for me, especially in regards to men and relationships. So just to give y'all a quick brief background for those who don't know my story, I was raised by my father, a black man, and my grandmother, an older black woman. But my father, from the very beginning, played a very heavy role in raising me and conditioning me and developing me and supporting me and nurturing me. So a lot of my father's traits and aspects really impressed upon me. And, you know, I also have my brother. I was raised with my brother, Daniel, who was right behind me. So growing up in a house full of men, full of boys, things weren't really traditional in the sense when it came to my girlhood and my childhood. I fought, at least me and my brother fought physically. I wasn't much of a talker. I wasn't very affectionate or open with my love for anybody around me. And not that I didn't want to, it's just something I wasn't comfortable doing. I didn't naturally gravitate to those types of actions. And, you know, my father growing up would always give me books. He would always train me to be intelligent and to think critically about everything. He would say things like, I'm not raising a pretty ass airhead. You know, you're not going to be a dummy. Not no child of mine. My daughter is not going to be any of those things that any man wouldn't want their daughter to be. That was my father. He was very involved in my homework. He reviewed all of my essays, all of my homework. He attended all of my parent-teacher conferences, and he was the epitome of a lion. Super courageous, super brave, especially when it came to his children and when it came to a cause. And my father, which is why I feel me and him have such a close connection and bond, is because, you know, him being a Cancer, he's very intuitive. He's very intelligent. Sometimes kind of psychic, and it's kind of creepy to me a little bit how just deep he can be. And as an Aquarius, an air sign, I'm always in my head being an intellectual, which is what Aquariuses are, the most intellectual sign of the zodiac. Like, damn, do you want to go in the room or something? Maybe you should go in the room. Hold my laptop right, please. It's a $1,000 laptop. Thank you. And so for me being an Aquarius and being an intellectual, I had a hard time connecting to those other parts of myself, my emotions. So my dad would connect with me by educating me. He would have me watch, you know, documentaries. He would have me watch all Spike Lee movies and have me study things. When we listened to hip hop music together, he wouldn't just let me listen to the music. He'd say, what are they saying in these lyrics? What producer you think made these beats? Everything was a challenge. Everything was a test. Timing, being orderly, being structured, being disciplined. And when I started to go to school, I wasn't very popular in the sense of, I would say, my looks or my personality. I think that there was some type of air of mystery maybe there, and some boys liked it and some boys didn't. You know, it kind of scared them. I remember I actually got my first boyfriend pretty young. I was 12 years old, and my boyfriend at the time was the total opposite of me. I was the shy, reserved young girl who wore her grandmother's clothes or her brother's clothes to hide my body and to hide myself from everybody. I didn't want to be seen, and I was super shy, super to myself. But for some reason, my boyfriend at the time, he saw interest in me. He was popular. He was tall. He was charming. He was social. He played basketball. He was really good at it. And he was cocky. And when he saw me, he had someone ask me out, and we ended up dating from there. And he was actually my boyfriend for a while. One of my only boyfriends in my childhood up until high school. And I'm bringing this up just to point out the fact that although I was nothing like the men that I was attracting, something in me was attracting them. Something in me was causing them to want to date me, to respect me, because I wasn't sleeping with these people. I wasn't even kissing anybody at the time. I was super shy, like I said. And, you know, I kind of wondered why. Like, why did they like me? Why did they see interest in me? And my next boyfriend, he was also very social, very sweet, very popular, the total opposite of me. He was a Libra. My first boyfriend was a Capricorn. And he was a baseball player, talented as well, very intelligent. Air signs are intelligent. And again, still not sure, like, how was I attracting these beautiful, these strong and talented men? You know, later on, I didn't date anybody in college until I came across this one person, and he was also very intelligent, also very charming, and, you know, I just felt catered to in a different way than the other women by these men. I've noticed my affinity for intelligent men as well. Regardless of how they looked on the outside, I loved a man who was confident and well-read and passionate, and who could have a conversation with me and not feel threatened by my refuting whatever he might have been saying. And so I'm saying this to say that there's been several people that I got to date after, people who were super handsome, super smart, super accomplished. And they saw me as this woman, this best friend, this counselor, sometimes even, I noticed. And I had a lot of guy friends who would just talk to me, just want to get advice from me, just want to hear my voice and stay in contact with me. It was nothing sexual, nothing romantic sometimes. But there was this respect, always, you know. And after watching this sage video, I learned why that might have been the case. Sage women are the gatekeepers of that wisdom, both in the textbook and when it came to life experiences. And, you know, when I was younger, I used to feel used. I used to feel unwanted sexually and romantically, but just for my mind, not knowing that that was what my superpower was. And I love what Ayesha says about the sage woman. She says that queens, the queen feminine archetype, they are known and successful in finding kings and cozying up with kings. Whereas a sage woman, a sage feminine archetype, she's known for making kings. And something about that just really made me smile on the inside, because I used to always say that there's something about this desire in me when I see someone that I'm attracted to, that I care for, that I believe has the potential to go beyond what they're doing right now. I want to take them to the next level. I want to give them as much support and advice, and I want to help them strategize. I want to help them plan to figure out, how can we get you to be where you want to go? You know, how can we make this happen for you? let me be of service to you. I may not be super sexual. I may not be super flirtatious and loving and affectionate, but I'm a team player. And I'm your ideal partner when it comes to getting things done, when it comes to handling business and thinking long term. I'm not here for the short term. I'm not here for the fun time. You know, you can have fun too, but it may not be what you think fun is, at least for me. I love going to museums. I love going on hikes. I love reading books. I love listening to lectures, you know, like I'm in college for no reason, just to learn. I love the arts. I love theater. I love dance. Not too much into clubs, you know. I'm very just different in that, I guess. And I just wanted to get on here to talk about the feminine archetype. And I think for other women, other people who are watching this, I think it would definitely be empowering for you to learn and study what your feminine archetype is. Because when it comes to dating, your archetype could be that seductive secret weapon that you have when it comes to self-worth and when it comes to identifying what your strengths lie in and also where your weaknesses might be as well. So the sage women, I know, and I can identify and relate to this, is that our weaknesses can't say that word. Our weaknesses are in our struggle or inability to disconnect from our mind and connect with our body and be free and loving and sexual in that way. And a lot of sage women have a hard time being present, being sexual. And I can see how that can also affect us in relationships. So that's just me saying, check it out. I'll drop the link here in the description box for y'all to take the test and also watch Ayesha Fane's video on the feminine archetypes. But thank you, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.